Yes.
Rosalie? Yes, okay.
You sound
Well,
great.
hello everyone. Yes. My name is Charlene Dunn. I am the Patient Outreach Coordinator for the Lamb Foundation. And on behalf of the foundation, I would like to welcome you to our first wellness webinar. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items before we get started. If you haven't already done so, please do mute your video and your audio. I think we've done a great job with that already. This does just help eliminate any unnecessary background noise during Stacy's presentation. Also, you may use the chat box on the right-hand side for comments and questions. Stacy may at times ask us to open our mics for responses, so we will simply just follow her lead with that, and she will let us know whether to respond in the chat box or to open our mics. Also, once my screen goes away here and we'll be looking at just Stacy, but ask you to go ahead and switch your view on your computer to speaker view. If you're in a gallery view where you're seeing a bunch of names, just go ahead up to that kind of a 3x3 grid, click that to speaker view, and Stacy will appear larger on your screen for you. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce today's guest speaker. Stacy Sims is a mind-body educator and author from Cincinnati, Ohio. Stacy has been involved with the Lamb Foundation since 2017, when she facilitated one of our very engaged and collaborative workshops at the Patient Benefit Conference in Los Angeles. Moving forward with the concepts that evolved from that conference, Stacy was instrumental in establishing the Lamb Foundation's Wellness Portal. This series focuses on mindfulness, movement, and meditation, and was created as a space for our Lamb patients and our family members to access mental wellness resources. As many of you already know and have done, you can find the portal on our website. This is a tremendously and especially relevant resource during these times. Having also presented at the 2018 Lamposium for us, Stacy is now a very familiar face to many, and today she is here, and I'm delighted to have her with us to help tap into our sense of peace and stillness by sharing with us how mindfulness and movement can help restore ease. And with that, very excited to welcome you, Stacy, and I will turn it over to you here.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you. This is definitely a moment in time where we need every single tool in our toolbox. So some of the things I'm going to share today, things that'll come up for you in a second, just so you know what certain sounds are in case you have your eyes closed. First of all, I have my dogs outside, and they always want to be by me, but now that I'm home all the time, they really do think it's especially odd if I'm not paying attention to them. So hopefully they'll be quiet. If I have to get up or down and you hear some activity in my house, that's probably what's happening. I also have these beautiful Koshi chimes. It's K-O-S-H-I chimes. And you'll hear them at a couple of moments during our meditation. So I want to say a little bit about, remind us about the power of using our mind to focus on our interior self at any moment, but particularly in this moment, before we get started with the meditation. So our stress response in the body is so powerful that it is in us since we were born. So the first thing that happens when a baby is born, hopefully, is there's a wah. And if you even make the face of crying or urgency or fear, if you go ahead and do that now, sort of squish up your face, you might notice if you put your hand on your belly that you feel a tightening, a quickening in your belly. I share that to remind us all that every emotion, every thought that we have is not just in our minds. there's a quickening, a tightening of all of the muscles, connective tissue, whenever we have our fear response. We are also designed, mind, body, spirit, emotions, to be able to go through a lot of difficulty and not just weather the storm, but actually thrive. What we need to make sure of is that we're practicing noticing our own muscular tension patterns, where we encounter our breath in our body, even if that breath is limited, and we cultivate this parasympathetic nervous system response, which is our rest, digest, and integrate. So as long as we can keep our energy in our body, our inhales and our exhales, on not just the up, the alert, but also the downbeat. So today we're going to practice the downbeat. We're going to feel, find, notice in our own bodies where we feel tension versus where we feel release, where we find our breath. And I want to say one more thing before I move us into the experience, is that no matter what you encounter today, no matter what you're thinking about, no matter what you're feeling or not feeling, you are doing it exactly right. Mindfulness and meditation are simply a practice of noticing in a very wide and generous and tender way, and then showing up again to practice again. So let's get started. Let's take a second to prepare our bodies to be able to receive sort of easeful direction from our minds and from me. So one of the things that happens when we get constricted and when we're on our phones and our computers all the time is that our spine starts to lock down. So we want to make sure that we move our spine and our eyes and our breath at least once a day, if not 10 times a day. So what you're going to do is you're going to start looking around your room, wherever you are, and you're going to notice all the things that you're used to seeing, but you're going to try to take them in as though you've never seen them before. You're breathing, you're looking around, and what is also happening is that you are rotating your spine. You're moving the muscles of the eyes in new patterns. When we habituate, things gets, whatever we see, do, feel, it gets kind of stuck in a pattern. So rotating the spine, looking around, being grateful for everything you see around you is how we're going to start our meditation practice. So let's just do a little bit more spinal movement. So we've done rotation. Be noticing when you hold your breath, because sometimes what will happen is we receive an instruction and when we want to do it right, so we might hold our breath. So see if you can always be keeping your breath moving. And if you notice that you stopped, then just start. So there's also side to side or lateral movement. So I'm sitting in a chair, so I'm going to put my left hand down on the chair. I'm going to put my right arm up in the air, and I'm going to just lean over. And rather than fall way over, I'm trying to keep my sitting bones planted, and I'm just trying to open up this side body here. And I think you all can particularly relate to this idea that in the ribs, there are these little intercostal muscles that when we can't breathe deeply or we can't move a lot, that they get kind of locked down. And so you can even put your hand against the rib and just sort of fall over. Oh, it should feel really good at opening up that side body. Same thing on the other side. If your movement is tiny, totally fine. Just go for sensation and really opening up that side body. Oh my goodness, I can feel how much tension I have right in that side body. Oh, beautiful. Now what we want to do is just do a more conscientious curving of the spine. So I scooched a little forward in my chair. And oftentimes we're just sort of hunkered down on our phone or just having a rounded posture, head forward, and not being mindful of it. But I put my hands on my knees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my belly in and take my chin to my chest and give myself an extra mindful spinal flexion. And then with my hands on my knees to pull me forward, I'm just looking up and giving spinal extension, a gentle arching to the back. So let's exhale, blow our air out and curve forward. Inhale, pull ourselves up, look up at the ceiling. Exhale, blow out or blow the air out through your nose, and then come back up one more time. Wonderful. Oh, it feels good. I hope it feels good to you guys. So now we're going to start taking our attention inward. We're going to first, so I don't think you guys can see. I'm seated in a chair, so my feet are on the floor. And what I want you to do is, if wherever you are, try to get your feet on the ground. And we're just going to do, I'm basically running. I'm making like a tap, 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 tap with my feet, just to energize the feet and the sensation in the feet, because we're going to talk about grounding here in a second. Tapping, 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 and then stop and notice. Bring your attention to your feet and see if you notice a tingling sensation. You've just created energetic flow, which is a wonderful thing. You might realize that your pulse is elevated, your breath is a little faster. Beautiful. Just notice and then watch it all calm back down. So bring your awareness back to your feet. Notice your sitting bones sitting on your bottom. And notice the connection point between the base of your bottom and your feet. And you might imagine that you're like a sandbag, a human sandbag, and all the sand runs to the base. Celebrating the sensation of this connecting of body to surface. This grounding oneself is very important. Generally, if we're keeping our attention on the sensation of being grounded, the touch points of the weight of ourself to the earth, it's much more difficult for the mind to move in a perseverating way. You can place your hands in a purposeful position. So I like to put my palms up and just settle them on my lap. And then you're going to feel a gentle lifting of the spine. If you bring your attention to the upper back part of your palate, or the upper back part of the roof of your mouth, you can even put your tongue back there, and see if you can lift a little from there. That's where the suckle response happens. So it's our first and our most primal way to initiate the lengthening of the spine. I like to close my eyes to really focus inward. But if you don't like to do that, just set a soft focus, not even on, you can focus on me, but maybe on something in front of you that isn't moving. So just a soft, open gaze. And notice where you encounter your breath moving in your body. Bring your attention to the nose, mouth. If you're able to breathe in and out through the nose, you can do that. If you need to open your mouth to take in air, please do that. Either way, bring a gentle attention to the inhale and the exhale, the feeling of breath in and out of the nose or in and out of the mouth. There's so much to notice. You can notice the feeling of it. You can notice the temperature of it even. Does the in-breath feel warm or cold? And does the out-breath feel warm or cold? You can notice the tempo. Is the in-breath and the out-breath even tempo, same tempo? And I'm going to invite you to try not to make meaning of what you're encountering. I know that breath and lung function is a deep concern. But the more we can just experience the noticing and the sensation without letting our mind move past that, the more healing these moments become. You can also notice muscular tension that rises up when you're trying to notice your breath. I tend to tighten through my hips, pelvic floor, even when I'm being gentle with myself. I'm definitely a type A personality, so I can work too hard. So our final experience with our breath today is we're going to take our left hand and place it in the middle of our chest. And we'll take our right hand and place it on the belly. If you switch them, that's okay too. And see if you can invite your inhale into your belly and your exhale into the space of the heart. Soften the shoulders. Practice this with the same loving tenderness, playfulness, as if you were sharing this exercise with your favorite toddler or a young person. We would celebrate every aspect of the attempt. We would be smiling. I'm going to begin to play the Koshi chimes. And I invite you to keep up this rhythm for another few minutes. Inhale into the belly. Exhale into the heart space. Feeling as much love for your breath and your body and your mind in this moment as in time. Feeling as much love for yourself as you do for your favorite others. Begin now to deepen your breath. Encountering your body as though for the first joyous time. So stretching, opening your eyes, sighing, yawning. Coming back to this wonderful community. taking your time in transition. Wonderful, everyone. I would love to hear or maybe read, if you wouldn't mind writing, first I noticed, and then I noticed. So mindfulness meditation, these somatic practices are really about the noticing over time. So just a short response, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. And we can, if we want to, we can shift back to gallery view or any other view that is easier for us to see everyone. First tension, then peace. That was from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Lorenzo says, first I noticed the tension in my back. Then I noticed easier breathing. Beautiful. Vivian was first restless and then got calm. Thank you, Vivian. Maria was first tense, then dizzy. Yeah, I can imagine, Maria, that the focused breath practice to start to become more oxygenated definitely can feel a little dizzying. I hope we can keep the practice up. I'm going to share some other tools, and I'd like to see how that happens over time. Sid, first I noticed the tightness across my upper back. Then I noticed the feeling of my heart opening and I exhaled. Oh, I bet that felt good. Sarah, stiffness. Oh, Maria says, because I never do this. Oh, sorry. First I noticed I wanted to do it right. Then I just did it. Boy, oh boy, do I get that, Leslie. I'm also a do it right person. It's good for some things, but not necessarily for mindfulness. Let's see. Elizabeth talked about how her body was tight and you didn't realize it. Golly, there's so many. Thank you, everybody. What I'd love to do, how do I go back to, can someone tell me how to get back to this gallery view, or can we all go back to gallery view so I can see a few more?
Yeah, Stacy, this is Shar. So in the upper right of your corner,
There we go.
That little,
Yeah. I would love to see some folks.
Excellent. So everyone, if you want to go ahead, there's Shannon. Hello. We've got people.
Is that Shannon who was noticing the waistband on her clothes?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's so cool about this mindfulness practice is that whatever you notice is totally legit. And the practice is we start to notice the nature of our mind. And rather than being, we just can find a lot of humor and patience with ourselves, and then start to understand what of our habituated thoughts are not helpful and which ones we really want to cultivate. So I'm curious, I don't know how to quite do this, but how do we let someone chat about what might be helpful for them in future moments?
Right. If people want to write their name in the chat box, then we can call on them and ask them one at a time to open their mics. That seems to be a system that works pretty well. So Stacy, I'll let you lead that if you see a name come up, or if we get, and so the question again, Stacy, is?
The question again is, if you have, certainly if you want to share about your experience, but also what could you use that I could share with you right now or in the next webinar? What would be some tools that you could use?
Excellent.
Extra help you need in this moment in time.
I see a lot of people thinking.
Visualization. Is that what Kathy said?
Kathy, do you want to open your mic and say any more, or?
Oh, she doesn't. Kathy
Okay.
doesn't have a mic or video. So Kathy, I love guided visualizations, and I have some really nice ones. Perhaps we can do one of those in our next gathering. I'm assuming that's what you need, like a guided journey. Yay! We got an exclamation mark from Kathy. You have a website that has daily meditations. So a couple of things. As you probably know, the Lamb portal has quite a few meditations that I did, Dr. Sean Cotton did. So, and those are always there for your use. If you follow, so the program that I run is called the well.world. And so it's rather than .com, it's .world. So it's the well.world. And I'll add this in the notes. On Facebook, if you follow the well.world on Facebook, I do a live morning meditation at 8 a.m. every morning. And it's what we just did is the kind of thing that I share. And then you can do it live, or you can also watch it later. I think Charlene's joined for some of those. So I'd be happy to see you all there. Oh, thanks for putting that in there.
Yeah.
So Susie's, Maria, you did not totally suck. Please join the practice. It's honestly, it's such a bold move to go inside to really notice your breathing and your breath. So I do hope to see you for repetitions. My guess is you were perfect at it. So Susie says, how to manage being distracted, bringing ourselves back to being centered more easily and quickly. So that's a super good question. The more you practice these mindfulness, the more you will have the capacity to even more notice how much tension, how ill at ease we feel when we're worried and distracted all the time. And you won't like the feeling, and you'll have other feelings to return to. But what my mantra tends to be sort of find my feet, find my seat, find my breath. The other thing you can do is there's this pulse noticing practice that is shared by a group called Capacitar. So when they go in post-disaster and they're trying to help individuals who've had profound trauma re-regulate, one of the things they share is a pulse finding practice. So you can do it by holding any of your fingers or putting your thumb in the middle of your palm. And you just sit until you find your own sense of your own heartbeat or pulse. Breath noticing, pulse noticing. Even if you're struggling to find the sensation, is down regulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows us to be in systemic homeostasis. Oh, nice. Thanks, Adrienne, talking about a dedicated time. So any other questions? We're, I think, getting close to the end of our official time together. So either from the fantastic Lamb crew or any of our guests here.
Oh, just thank you, Stacy. And good reminder that the meditations that you're doing every morning are 8 a.m. Eastern time.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but you can go back and find them, if I'm correct on that, on Facebook. Their Facebook
Yes.
Live events. Yep.
Yes, and we also have a program. I'll just put in the link right here. If you go to thewell.world/artswave, just put it in. That'll take you to a little sign up form, and you'll put in name and zip code. I think that's all we're asking for. You'll get a welcome letter from the Well, and that gives you daily mindfulness and music files and mindful poetry files. So it's our program we generally do in schools. We're now sharing with the community at home. So those are some more resources for you. And they're little short meditations. It's a prompt as well as a piece of music, classical music or opera, or a prompt and a poem by some beautiful poets. So those things should also help until we gather again.
We gather again. Thank you. And I'd just like to remind everyone there is so much on the wellness portal as well, and they kind of vary in time, length of time. I know one of my favorites is the simple inhale, exhale along the finger meditation. It works great with kids, with family, or if I find myself in a real stressful moment and I just need to take a deep breath before I launch into the next, transition to the next thing on my list. So a great variety of things on there. And I'm not remembering who it was up here that mentioned a set time. Just a thought I have is I think if we put that out in our Lammy's group, we probably would get some women to commit to quieting all at the same time, much like we did today. I do think it's really powerful when we do it collectively. And so if somebody wants to spark that conversation, we will have Stacy back again, and so we look forward to that. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of clapping, Stacy. Thank you very much. And if you have any additional questions for Stacy or thoughts on her question about what you might enjoy or need moving forward, just shoot those an email to me or reach out to me on Facebook, and I'll connect with Stacy and we'll address those.
Yeah, and I just had one more thing to say that to that point is that if you come to the morning meditations that I'm doing and you find something that you really like, then just shoot us a note, and then we can make sure that we add that meditation to the Lamb Wellness portal so that we keep creating content for you through your Lamb portal that really resonates with you.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you very much. And a reminder, this will be on. I'm seeing a lot of thank yous and reading in the chat that this was really beneficial today. And so this will be available on the portal soon, so we can all come back and visit and do it again.
Yay! Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks to my dogs who are really quiet.
They were fantastic. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.